Hey everyone, this is Neil Napier here. Just let me move the microphone a little bit. Okay, excellent. Ebe, good to see you on the call. We have a few more people joining in. We already have Wolfgang, Sandra, Ragini, Nicholas, Marcelo, Julie, Holger, Bill, Annette, Amir, Steve, and a few more people joining in. Now, today's session is all going to be about blogging. This is something that is not perhaps as, well, let's say sexy as maybe driving ads is, but it does work over a given period of time. So if you're patient, if you don't mind doing this over a course of a few months, this is something that can substantially add to your bottom line, to your traffic, to your results. It does take time though. So I just want to preface everything with that. Now in this session today, I will be giving you a demo of the blogging feature of InstaSuite as it works right now. And then I'll be giving you some strategies you can use. I'll be giving you 3 steps that you can implement to basically get more results from blogging. Now, when I say blogging, by the way, don't think about that kind of travel blogging that you do when you're traveling around Southeast Asia or anywhere else in the world. This is more about creating something that is a growing asset that continues to bring people to your site over time. I can't even begin to tell you there's so many people like Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income who started with a blog and now he's making more than $100,000 a month, and this is after 5 or 6 years. So again, it takes time to get there, but you can get there. That's the key thing I want you to remember. Blogging results are not going to appear overnight, but if you do put in the effort, if you do what I'm going to tell you to do, you will get results. Now, having said that, as always, I'll take questions at any point of time you have them. So by all means, throw them at me, and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. Sandra says, don't know anything about blogging, so good to be on this call. That's good, Sandra. Now, let's talk about blogging. The very first question people ask is, should I blog? It's a very valid question. I mean, should you really spend time blogging? Should you really spend time writing articles that maybe no one's ever going to read? And that happens too. I mean, case in point, let me jump on over to Job Rack, and I'll show you our blog here. So this is one of the other businesses that we run on the side. It's a job marketplace where you can post a job and you can find outsourcers, and outsourcers can find a job and apply to it. So, this is the Job Rack blog. And as you can see, these are some of our blog posts. If I go to, let's say, the latest one for now, you'll see that we probably don't have a lot of social media shares, and you'll see that when the buttons show up. We don't have a lot of, statistics on people actually even visiting this page as of right now. I think it's still less than a couple of hundred. Okay, 36 shares, that's pretty good already. So it could be better. I mean, this definitely, for the amount of work that we put in, we're not getting an immediate result. So it's like this. When you drive a Facebook ad to a sales page, to a funnel, you get result instantly. You might not break even, maybe you do break even, but you get result instantly. Within the first month, if you know your marketing right, you will make profit on that ad spend, if you know your marketing, within the first month. With blogging, it takes a little bit longer. So with blogging, it can materialize in the first month if you have network and traffic already built out. But if you're building a completely new blog, it might take you 2 to 3 months before you see first sale from a blog post that you put out. Just being honest, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to write a blog post and see sales coming in the next day. It's more about brand building. It's more about building a place that's your own. It's more about having a place where people can come and read your thoughts, not just not just random thoughts about life and so on, unless you write about life, in which case it's fine, but business thoughts, if that's what you want to focus on, or if you coach on relationships, then thoughts related to relationships. So there are many ways to blog. I mean, there's this term that became famous, I think, about 7 to 8 years ago called vlog. So it's like a blog, but it's a video blog, and that's basically you keeping videos as well in place here. Now, that's something you can do as well. So you can have a video, blog as well. It just means you have more videos instead of just written content. So there are many different ways to building a blog, and it's really all about you answering this for yourself, that if this is for you, should you blog? My recommendation, again, if you're just starting out and if you are desperate for money, don't blog. because it's not going to bring you an instant ROI. It might take 2 to 3 months if you do things right. Or you maybe, one way to do it is write a blog post and drive Facebook traffic to it, and then you'll see some results. So you still end up spending money on traffic, but instead of sending people to an opt-in page, now you're sending them to a page which maybe pre-qualifies them a bit. In which case, I would say just focus on the funnels anyway. Don't drive ad traffic to blogs at the beginning. So another problem with this is that it's time consuming, especially if you don't enjoy writing. So for me personally, I don't enjoy writing so much anymore. It used to be okay. I actually started as a freelance copywriter, but after a while, I just didn't like doing it. It was a bit boring. It was mundane. Who wants to write about 5 ways to, reduce hair loss, for example? Unless, of course, if that's my market. But even to this day, I don't enjoy writing, the act of writing too much, the act of typing on the keyboard mercilessly. It's too much for me. I do it in a different way, and I'll talk about how you can do that too, which will save you like a ton of time. But writing a blog is not for me anymore. My team does it, most of it. I will say though that if you do decide to outsource it, if you do build a team around it, don't outsource for cheap. Like, really don't. This is the biggest mistake that you can make. And people make this mistake as well because they think that, okay, I'm just going to give it to someone else and I'll just sit back and watch the traffic rolling in. Please don't do that. Because if you do that, it's going to backfire dramatically. It's better to have no content than have crappy content. And most writers out there are not up to scratch. They don't know your market like you do. They have never worked with you before. They don't know your voice. So your blog will not be a reflection of you or your business. It'll be a reflection of someone, no offense, from a third world country writing an article for you for $5, doing what they can do best in under 10 minutes. That's not what you want. So I would say don't blog if you're desperate for money, but if you have time, if you want to build a long-term brand, if you want to build an authority, put some really good content out there, then do some blogging. Now let me jump into InstaSuite and actually give you a demo of how it functions within InstaSuite. And there is already training available as well, of course, as always, so you can go through that too. But I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of this, after which I'll come to some questions. So when it comes to some setting up your blog in the beginning, you have this general settings page. So, blogging is all about SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. To me, it's all a bit of VooDoo. It's all a bit of anything can happen anytime. It's a gamble. But, I just don't believe that you should modify your content to match Google. I think you should modify your content to serve people. That's my strong opinion. But it doesn't hurt by putting in the right keywords in the right places. So for your blog, you do need this stuff. I mean, this is, I would say, mandatory, but we haven't made it mandatory because we hope you use it when you use it. So set up an SEO title for your blog. So I could say KV Social News. Then set up some keywords, for example. So maybe this blog is about software, it's about information, it's about marketing, and so on and so forth. SEO description, which is basically what people see in Google when they search for you. So KV Social News is a consolidated site, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So I can write all of that down, whatever I want. You can choose to hide it from search engines. I don't know why you would do it, but the option is there if you want. Then you can have a top menu in place. At the moment, we have this one, so you can just put this one in. You can have a footer in place as well if you want to, and all those settings I'll show you here. And then you can choose to have comments in place too, and I would strongly recommend that. Either have Facebook or Discuss. Discuss works quite well as well, but in both cases you need integration set up already. So you need the Facebook app ID, you need Discuss URL, and you can find more of that in training if you want to, how to get that. If not, just Google it, right? This is the footer text, and this is so when you publish a new post, InstaSuite automatically notifies the above site update services. So this is like, pinging services, for example. So if you put different URLs here, we'll ping them and let them know that a new blog post has gone live. That kind of thing. Save, you're done. Next thing up is a widget. We're going to add some more things to it. Like I noticed that one of the things that is in development right now is going to be added here. So you'll see that coming out, I think, next week. which again, if you're watching at some other point in time, that might already be there. Now, with the widget, let me actually, I think for this I need to show you the blog. Let me jump on over and show you the blog first. Let's go ahead. Okay. So this is what a typical blog post looks like. I mean, you can work on this in many different ways, but this is typically what it would look like. These are all the widgets on the right. So there's an opt-in form, there's a search function if you want, categories in place, you can put categories, tags, and all the latest posts as well. So if I head back here, if I go into widget, you can add some of these, and you can remove some of these. So if I don't want tags or categories, I can remove them. If I don't want search, I can remove them. If I click save and go here and refresh this, you'll see that the widget on the right changes. Now, this is something that we potentially will add more to in future. We'll add more widget opportunities, more customizable widget opportunities. But for now, you can use this. Okay? For now, you can use this. And how to edit all of this, I'll show you a little bit later in another place. So for some reason, interestingly, it changed it, but it brought it back. Well, we'll check that out. Then you've got the option to set up menus as well. So if I have this menu, for example, I have no menu structure in place. I can add pages, and I can build a menu. It works very similarly to how it would work in WordPress, for example. So if you've ever used menus in WordPress, that's how you need to think about this as well. But honestly, I don't worry too much about menus unless you want to have linked to a sales page or something, in which case, yes, do have a menu in place, right? So in that case, yes, do have a menu in place. And this is all pages and all posts as well here. So you can link to different posts on the menu as well if you want to. So let me just save this. Okay, and let's refresh this. I think I enabled the menu, but if not, we'll go back and check it out. Yeah, there you go. So that's the menu post that shows up. You've got the option pages here as well. So posts I'll come to shortly, but you have pages here that you can edit and put in place too. Now, the next thing is choosing a theme. At the moment, we have 3 themes available. If I go into customize, I think I can customize it if I remember right. If not, I know this is one of the things that we wanted to work on already, but I think I can customize it. Let's see. If I go here, yeah, I can change the color. So I can change the color here. And you can match it to your blog colors. That's fine. You can put a header in place. You can put a body body color in place as well. You can change that. Same with the footer color and the button colors as well. If I don't want red buttons, I can change them to be blue, and that's fine too. All right. It changes the header, these titles as well. So just match it, and it's always nice at the match, by the way. Anyway, so once you're happy with it, simply save it, and you should be done. I think if I exit this. Yep, that should be fine. Let's refresh this. Okay, I think for some reason the save button was missing there, but I'll check it out. So that's how you pick and choose a theme. Then we get to the post part. This is where you create a new post. And again, we've tried to keep it as simple as we possibly can. So in this case, you've got a post. Let's say if you want to make a new post about why InstaSuite rocks, right? Then this is the slug that you have. You can change the slug if you want to. It's basically SEO friendly. So you can remove this stuff if you want to. To me, again, it doesn't really make sense. This is some excerpt that shows up when people search why a blog post, so you can put that in there, and you can start putting your content here. Just like any other thing, you can put your content in here. When you do that, you can also switch to HTML view. If you switch to HTML view, you can add videos if you want to. Someone asked me, how can I add videos? So let me jump on over to YouTube, and I'll show you this right now. If I jump on over to YouTube, you can probably guess the kind of videos I watch, a lot of politics stuff. Let me just grab the embed code from here. So let me grab the embed code right from here. This is HTML based already. So I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to put the embed code here. And I'm going to put the center quotes around it because I want it to look kind of nicer, even if the rest of the content around it doesn't look nicer. Okay, let's revert back. And when we do, you can see the video shows up here. So you can add any HTML elements you want to this blog page. Very easy to do, very easy to manage this yourself. Just like a normal editor, you've got the undo, redo option. You can change this text, for example, into header, so this becomes bigger, bold, all these different things, subscript, superscript. You can insert links. So you can insert links so that it opens. If you insert blank, it opens in a new page, for example. You can insert images as well if you want to. You can indent the content, bullet points. I think this is just to put gaps in place as well, which I think is cool too. And this one is removing formatting if you want. So if I choose this and do this, it might remove any formatting it has. So there are all these different things you can do here. I think there's more I would like to see here. For example, colors. Maybe you can even put colors. But for now, if you want to choose colors, you can do that using HTML option. But I know colors would be nice too. So there are all these different things that you can do here. Then you've got the image thumbnail. So again, when someone searches for this via Google, what image should they be able to see? When they land on your blog, what image should be able to see, they should be able to see on your blog as well. That's the image thumbnail. Then you've got, again, the SEO title, keywords, and description for this particular page. Once you're happy with it, you can either publish it or you can just leave it in draft mode. And you can activate social share buttons as well. So let's save this. And let's actually now publish this. Okay, it's published. Let's go to this URL. And let's actually go to this URL. This is our blog, remember. So this is our blog, and these are all the different posts that we have in place already. And this is the one that we just made. Let's go and read more. If I go in here, you can see this is what the post looks like. Again, it's very simple. I mean, there's not much to it, but you can customize as much as you want, and the social sharing buttons show up as well. So if I wanted to show a social share here, I could click on that button, sign into Facebook, and social share or email people as well. So there are all these different things that you can do with InstaSuite blog component. You've also got pages, as I showed you earlier. Pages are, for example, if you want to have a disclaimer page, privacy policy, anything of that sort you can put in here. Ideally, what I would also like to see at this stage is, being able to, under settings, being able to actually connect this, when you're choosing, let me go into menus. When you have menus, you should also be able to pick funnel pages from here. That would be cool. So that you can even have direct sales page link, like right up on top here. That would be awesome, and I'll make sure that we do that. Then you've got the post categories and post tags as well, which is both good for SEO and also good for, sectioning your blog if you want. So if you want to create categories, if your blog is about, fitness, you can create categories about losing weight, losing muscle, gaining muscle, and all these different categories. So people can quickly jump into categories that they care about and they want more information on. So there are all these different things you can do with your blog. Again, very easy to follow, very easy to use. We've tried to keep it easy, and I think, if I'm honest here, I think only about 20 to 30% of people will actually use this, because people are still addicted to their WordPress, and that's okay, that's fine. I think slowly you can look to transition to this, but like I said, when we get to next development phase, there's so much more I want to add to this to be able to make it even more robust than it is right now. But if you have questions, please come at me and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Ela, yes, we'll put out a replay for this within 24 hours in the Facebook group. If you are not part of the Facebook group, please do join. Okay, hey Neil, do we need permission from the person whose YouTube video we possibly could be using on our blog? Ragini, no you don't, because you're embedding a video. You're not claiming ownership. You're not saying this is your video. You're simply embedding a video from YouTube. And here's the cool part. When you do that, let me go to the post. When you do that, then you are automatically linking back to YouTube. And if you're linking back to YouTube, for them, it's already, you basically doing marketing for them, so they don't mind at all. So you don't need to basically, seek permission to embed a YouTube video. That is completely fine. There's no problem with that at all. I plan to use InstaSuite blog. It seems so easy to use, especially for a technically challenged person like me. Exactly, Ragini. Our goal with this was to really keep it simple. I mean, I want to add new features, but not at the not at the cost of simplicity. So that's the kind of fine balance we're trying to tread. That sure, we can add like 10 new things to it, but I just don't want to beef it up to the point where it becomes difficult to use. So yeah, I would love to have a feature such as posters is linked to specific product member. I mean, what do you mean? Sorry, could you clarify? I think there's some typos in there and I can't quite make it out. Amir, let me know if it's not. I mean, it's not clear to me. So it'd be great if you let me know about that. Would love to feature, yeah, just type again. Yeah, posters displayed to specific members level. I mean, that cannot be done. I mean, that will not be done because, you know, that level of integration is, if I'm honest, unnecessary for most people. So there's no reason to do this. What you can do if you really want to do that is when you're building out a membership site, you know, put a content only for a member, only for that membership access within there. I mean, honestly, man, there's no point having a blog post and then restricting it to a member only or to a specific person only. It just, and even this feature, I don't know, like, you know, again, remember I joined this project a little bit later than Susanna was there. I don't know why this feature even exists. I don't know why anyone would want to hide it from search engine, unless maybe if you're doing like bad kind of sites, you know, pornography, stuff like that, then yeah, maybe you want to hide it from the search engine. Maybe you want to only then mail the links to people. But otherwise, there's no reason to restrict it for members. If you want to do that, you might as well use the membership feature, which I think is already quite robust for that. So yeah, think about that. Okay, now let's go in and talk some strategy. And like the other session we did last week, this might be a bit short as well, but that's okay. But I do want to discuss strategies with you because I know for some of you, blogging might be a new thing. For some of you, you haven't yet considered it seriously. So let's talk about this. And again, I'll roll back to questions a bit later. Now, I'm going to give you 3 steps to optimize blogging. I mean, there's blogging and then there's optimized blogging. So blogging is, you know, when you wake up in the morning and you dread your day, like, oh no, I have to blog today. I have to write like 1,000-word article today. I don't have the patience or the energy to do it. I don't want to do it. That's blogging. Optimized blogging is doing it in a way that it's efficient and it's effective and you actually want to do it because it's getting you results. So that's optimized blogging. So let's talk about that. Step number 1 is listing out your ideas. So throw some niches at me, throw some markets that you're involved in right now, and I'll use that as an example. But when you are working in a market, you probably have some content to share. You probably have some things you want to tell other people about. You know, that could be, for example, let's say someone said veganism. If that's your market, for example, you want to tell people about, you know, 10 ways to be a happy vegan, or 10 ways in which you can, or you know, what's the best way to become a vegan if you're a meat eater. So things like that. I mean, those are insights that you're sharing with people. Those are values that you want to impart to people. So start by creating a list of at least 10 things you know and you can share about your niche, about your topic. So it could be like how to do this. It could be training videos about something. It could be step by step, do this, step number 1, step number 2. So like training, but instead of a video, it's a written piece. Then you could also have case studies. So for example, if you are, you know, teaching people how to convert to being a vegan, you could do a case study with someone who used to be a meat eater who turned to vegan, and you can document that transition process, right? Or you could simply give a list, like a massive list, like 71 perfect vegan recipes that you have to try in your lifetime, something like that. So, you know, have this creative list of ideas. So always keep on expanding on this, and as you do more and more research, as you go deeper into your topic, you'll get more and more ideas that you can write about. And that's the first step to optimize blogging, making sure that you have enough ideas to go with, that you can run with new ideas. And sometimes it's good to have this because imagine, for example, they release a new study on BBC which talks about how veganism is a new social norm. You know, then you can write an article quickly about that because you already had the idea, and then you can ride the wave of BBC talking about it as well. You know, because the topic would be hot right then and there. So it'll make sense to cash in on that right then and there. So yeah, step number 1, create an extensive list of ideas. And this is also good if you're trying to build products, by the way. So if you want to build products in future, this will also be a good thing because you can actually, in that case, you can, you know, build products just out of these ideas. So 71 recipes for, you know, vegan cooking, you can turn that into an ebook if you want to, into a physical book if you want to as well. So plan it like that. Step number 2 then is creating your content. Now, this is the most painful part. I can't even begin to tell you how many blogs I've started and stopped after 4 or 6 posts because I got bored, I got tired, and, you know, again, like I said, it didn't yield results immediately. So for me, you know, writing one blog post every week doesn't work. What I tend to do is I write a lot of them in a group, in a bunch. So this is, you know, a very, very good practical example, and I can actually even give you this live. So let's say if I wanted to do a blog about blogging, about, you know, steps on how to do optimized blogging, I could take this recording right now. Okay, I'm going ahead of myself, but just remember, I could use this recording in future. So my way of doing content is that I would record a 7 to 10 minute video, and I would get it transcribed at rev.com, and then I would share it with the content editor in my team. Then within 2 to 3 hours, this person will have a ready to go post, including optimized to go on InstaSuite, WordPress, whatever. The cost for this to me is about $30. It takes 24 hours, about 12 hours for the rev.com to turn it around, and another few hours for my content editor to polish everything together. So it literally takes me, you know, 24 hours from when I have an idea to do an entire blog post. I mean, this is gold. This is absolute gold. So to give you a real example, imagine that I wanted to write a blog post about how to do optimized blogging. I could take this entire webinar recording, you know, or the parts of it that I'm talking about now. I could take the 3 steps recording and I could give it to someone on rev.com, and they would get it transcribed for me. It'll cost me $1 a minute for that audio. So like a 10-minute audio is about $10, which I think is pretty good value. And that's about 1,000 words I can give to my content editor or anyone who knows decent enough English, or, you know, you can even do this yourself, of course, and you can turn that into a blog post immediately. Typing a 1,000-word blog post will take you at least an hour, and that's a long time, you know, to do that. I think for me it takes me about 10 minutes, and that's it. 10 minutes and $30. I'm happy with that. So again, follow this process as much as you can, and it works for products as well, by the way. So, you know, if you want to, let's say, build a video product, you can do all kinds of video recordings. So in my case, what I do when I want to publish, let's say, 10 articles or 6 articles, I think it's more realistic. I'll take one of my webinar recordings, I'll send it to rev.com. They turn around with about, like, I think, you know, 8,000 words, 10,000 words, and I'll give that to my content editor, and I'll tell her, could you please break this down into 6 articles? And she'll do that. Altogether, it cost me about $150, let's say, for 6 articles. Not a bad price at all. And this is all my content. It's my voice. It's not someone else's voice. I mean, remember, I'm the expert in my business, and in your business, you're the expert. So it has to be your voice, which is why I said, do not outsource it to someone for the cheap, hoping you can save a few dollars. Because when people land on your page, they're going to see something completely different from when they talk to you on the phone. You don't want there to be mixed messaging. So as much as you can, lead that. I know it's painful, but if you do this, what you can do is you can also turn that into content for a product. Remember what I said earlier. I could do this easily, right? So I could do a thorough 1-hour recording about, let's say, how to build funnels. How to build funnels, how to integrate them, you know, PayPal and Stripe, and then how to drive traffic. And I could, you know, this is a product, this is 1-hour training, that's a product. It's a webinar, it's potentially 5 blog posts as well. And that's what, you know, content repurposing comes into play. You can turn that into audio, and now suddenly it's podcasts as well. So think about that. Think about how you can create your content fast. Sure, it's going to cost you a bit, but trust me, I mean, you can easily get rid of that $20 cost. You can do it yourself if you want, that's fine as well. So work on that. Then step number 3 is driving traffic. Now, as I mentioned before, SEO traffic is going to take time, 6 months, you know, 3 months, 6 months easily. You can run Facebook ads as well, especially if you have great content. We recently did 71, a blog post called 71 Ways to Improve Conversion on Your Blog. We ran ads to it, and man, it was crazy. We got so much traffic from it by running a blog post, or blog post ad, or just a normal ad on Facebook. So that part works really well. It is very, very crucial if you have great content, but you might not want to do that immediately. So the way to get free traffic, the way to leverage free traffic, of course, remember those things: Instagram, Facebook groups, fan pages, and whatnot. They're all these different things. But one thing that works really well for us is linking to influencers. So if I was, writing an article like this, my content editor would also go out and find similar articles or complementing articles and quote them in our article or link back to them on our article. And then she will contact them for outreach marketing and say, hey, we wrote this article about how to do optimized blogging, and we referenced your article about how to drive traffic. I hope that's okay. I would love your feedback, and if you like it, please share it with your audience. They might share, they might give you feedback, they might not respond at all, but regardless, you have taken the first step to getting in touch with them. If they respond, who knows, they could be a potential affiliate in future. They could be a networking partner. So do whatever it takes. Tweet at them. Mention them on Facebook, get their attention doing whatever you can. Because once you have that in place, you will be able to essentially, in the future, recruit them as well. So again, just work when you're driving traffic, work on engaging with potential affiliates or marketers in the same market that you're involved in. It's a great way to drive traffic. I mean, again, it takes time, don't get me wrong, but the idea that you could attach yourself to someone who is perhaps more relevant in that industry and they could mention you, they could mention your work, that's pretty big. That could drive a lot of leads your way, a lot of traffic, a lot of sales, but mostly reputation and authority. And that's something you can really build with blogging as well. So what do you think about these 3 steps? I have more to share, but please tell me, give me some feedback here. Do you like the 3 steps? Do you think this is something you can use in your business as well? All right, I'll go back and answer a few questions, and I'll look forward to your answers as well. If you like this, give me a quick yes and tell me, I like this. This is good. Nicholas says, fantastic and focused. Love the steps. Ragini says, especially rev.com. Yes, says Nicholas. I like the steps. Lenny, hey Lenny, good to have you on the call as well. So yeah, there's with rev.com, it really makes my life simple. And again, if you want to do the editing yourself, that's fine as well. Then it would only maybe cost you $10. I mean, I honestly feel bad, but for only paying $7 for listening to me and then converting that into text, because I talk so fast as well when I'm recording those videos. So it's the person on the other end is working really hard. But as a result, I have a really good article which matches my voice, and that's perfect. So let's see. Ragini is saying, Neil, I'm planning to create a funnel, for example, an e-commerce store, followed by email funnel using Market Hero, and finally a blog section. Your thoughts? So Ragini, I'll be upfront here that, as you probably know already, because we don't have deep Stripe integration with the funnel builder in InstaSuite, you can't do, funnels the same way you can do them with ClickFunnels, for example, or Shopify. So that might be tough, but if you can do it outside, yes, build an email list, yes, market to them, and yes, please use your blog to engage people. Now here's the thing, if I consider the traditional IM community, internet marketing community, and maybe I'm just as much to blame, but you probably get tons of emails from me every week, right, and from everyone. But when you look into e-commerce, how many emails do you get from Amazon for promotions? Not that many, maybe once a month or twice a month. But instead of doing what they're doing, what you can do if you're doing e-commerce is you can actually drive people to content, if it's relevant to their purchase as well. And maybe you can even pitch within those blog posts, that's completely fine. But this way you're engaging people. This way you're getting people to take action, get back to your website, you're keeping them informed about, what your business is all about. So you can do that. Can the content of the blog and the emails on email marketing be identical? Ms. Ghana, yes, that can be identical. There's no problem at all. I mean, there's no penalty for that if that's what you're worried about. Yeah, I mean, email content, remember, only goes out to a limited number of people that you want. The blog content is public, so to speak. All right. Okay, my niches are Seventh-day Adventists passionate about natural healing. Yep, Ms. Khan, I remember, I think, having talked to you about that some time ago. That would be good as well. Annette says, love this kind of blogging. Okay. Rev.com works for someone with an accent too. Usually does, I guess. I mean, I don't know what my accent is like, but if you do have an accent, you can try it out. They are quite open to it. I guess talk a bit slower, and maybe some words they might not be able to pinpoint, but I think usually they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Yep. Okay, loving your content, will watch and replay. Holger, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, take rest, man, take rest. Okay, you can also try Trint.com as a cheaper alternative to Rev.com. It is automated rather than using humans, but it costs about 25%. Interesting. Thank you for that suggestion, Oliver. Let me open that up actually for everyone. So this is the link that Oliver shared. Oliver, this is awesome. And feel free to post this in the group as well, Oliver. I think people would appreciate you doing that. And I want you to share some content too instead of just me doing it, because I want you to build connections as well. Thank you. But Trint.com, okay, so it's automated. And let me see if it tells about pricing. I'll open Rev.com as well on the site. Okay, that's loading up a bit slowly. But this one, if I look at them, so yeah, they do translation as well. It's 10 cents per word. For me, it's a little bit expensive, I might add. I mean, I guess translation is always expensive. And I know we have a lot of Spanish customers as well. But if I have a 1,000-word article, I mean, it might not be financially viable to pay $100 to get it translated. But you know, you can do transcription for a minute. If you have videos, you can do captions and subtitles for $1 a minute as well. So if I look at this one, so this is like monthly. So let's say if I look at this one, oh, you just pay, okay, $16 per hour of audio, I'm guessing. So that's pretty good actually. You know, Oliver's right, this is about 25% of the cost. Quality matters. I mean, they might not be able to pick the accents, for example. I mean, it's not human basically. But sure, I mean, if you do want to try it out, do that. And maybe Oliver, you can tell me if you know at all, do you know what kind of accuracy or consistency they get in this, like percentage-wise? Like I know with Rev.com, I swear I get about 90 and 99%, which is really, really good. It makes the content editor's job easier. So yeah, but tell me if you know. Yes, Ralph, all the replays are available on the tutorials. So if you go to tutorials for InstaSuite, on the right you'll see webinar replays. All the replays are available. Mark, you cannot do full e-commerce with InstaSuite. You cannot, because there is no direct integration, so to speak, with Stripe and PayPal, for example. Okay. The way ClickFunnels has, you know, again, just being transparent there. We will have it in a few months, but not as of right now. Okay, excellent. Now, having said that, let me move on to some more things I want to share with you. And after that, again, I'll roll back to the questions at the end. So let's talk about building content for free. I already told you how you can do it yourself. That is my go-to method. But if you are busy, if you are lazy, if you are in a market that you're not an expert in, then I'll talk about how you can do it for free. First step is Creative Commons videos. So I don't know if you know this, but if I go jump on over to YouTube, let me go ahead. Okay, so if I search for a video, I think, let's see, let's type SEO. If I search, I can filter based on Creative Commons. There you go. So you do have to read the rights and everything, what it means for YouTube Creative Commons. So I would recommend that you pay some attention to this as well. So with Creative Commons on YouTube, you can see let me go ahead. What is a Creative Commons license? A Creative Commons license is one of several public copyright licenses that enables a free distribution of an otherwise copyrighted work. So please remember, I am not a lawyer. Okay, I'm just giving you suggestions on how you can potentially use this. So when you're uploading a video to YouTube, it'll automatically be standard. You can change this and you can set it to Creative Commons. So you have to figure out exactly what Creative Commons means in this case. But the way I would use it, it's up to you. The way I would use it is I would transcribe some of their content and use it for myself. Maybe referencing to them, but not linking back. That's up to you. I mean, you have to read more into this. You have to see how you can use it. I'm not a lawyer, but I know that we did partner up on a product a few months ago. It was called Contentio. It still exists. It's a very good plugin. You will see my face there when you Google. You'll get the sales page. And even though I'm not working on that anymore, I know the developer is, and he's keeping it updated. So it's a good plugin. What it does is it basically grabs content from videos that have closed captions. So if a video has closed captions, if I jump onto YouTube, I can also search by closed captions. So let's do this. And I think, yeah, subtitle CC, so it grabs content from all those videos and converts that into a blog post. It's WordPress only though. So it is a good solution, and I mean, it definitely works as long as you use it on your blog, which is WordPress enabled. Now, about the rights and everything, we checked back when we released this, back then at least, and I think even now to this day, as long as you link back to the YouTube video, it's okay to transcribe the content and use it on your website. You can change a few things as well. You can spin a few words. You can delete paragraphs, add paragraphs. That's completely fine. But I would still say, as often as you can, link back to the original source. That's important. The other way you can, so to speak, build content for free is getting people to guest post for you, which means that if you have a blog with high reputation, if you're getting, let's say, 1,000 visitors a month, you can tell someone, hey, come and post on my blog, and your post will be viewed by 1,000 people a month, and you can post a link at the end of it, and we'll send you some traffic back with it. So you can do that as well. That's how you basically build content for free. So a few things that you have to do with your blog post. I didn't mention traffic generation, but I'll talk about that first. Whenever you publish a blog post, share that on as many social media outlets as you can. Share that with your email list as you can. The goal is to drive a flurry of traffic. The goal is to drive as many people as you can to that blog post. So the first thing is that. Second thing is offer something, build a list. Do not put up a blog post without, some kind of list building mechanism in place. So make sure that any blog post you put out, you have a way for people to get on your list and get more awesome content from you. Second thing is have a strong call to action on every post that you do. And this is important. This is a mistake sometimes my content editor makes as well. I tell her and she fixes it, but I shouldn't have to tell you this twice. So every post that you make, end it with something strong. Did you like what you read? Did you like what you see? Sign up to this list here. Did you like what you see? Go check out our product, InstaSuite here. So always have some kind of call to action at the end, because if you don't, you have spent basically the last 10 minutes warming up a customer and then you're not closing them at all. So at the end of a blog post, have an action point. It's very crucial. Third thing is have a purpose, objective with every blog post. So don't write a blog post for the sake of it. Don't write a blog post because, maybe it's a good idea. I mean, it's like this. If you really want to do it passionately, write every blog post as if it's your last one. As if it's the last letter that you're leaving to the world. It has to be the best letter ever. What are you going to write? That's maybe like too much, but you can scale back a bit and create something good. Create something that you are willing to market for the next 3 months, that you're willing to tell everyone you meet about that blog post. If you're not, don't do it. Sure, maybe there might be some other blog post that comes up and that's fine too, but anything that you write, anything that you put out has to have a purpose, has to have an objective. It has to convert people. It has to build brand awareness. It has to show your principles. It has to have an MO of some sort. So make sure that what you do has an objective when it comes to blog posts. That's important. Now, there are a few cool sources of traffic generation, idea generation, networking. One of them is called Korra. Let me jump on to type up here. Okay, this is like, I should have logins. Let me try and log in if I can. Okay, this is a bit like how Yahoo Q&A used to be, right? How Yahoo Q&A used to be, where Yahoo Answers rather, where you ask a question, a bunch of random people answer that. It kind of didn't really go to plan because no one was really moderating it. It turned to crap pretty quickly. Korra is a far, far better version than that. Korra is much more, well, let's say intellectual. It's emotional place. It's a place where you get help. It's a place where people, you know, ask questions, they give answers, they share experiences and everything. I mean, especially if you're in the more creative and social sciences, area, this is perfect. This is like really, really good. So if you're in life coaching, if you're doing consulting for, relationships, dating, this is amazing. If you focus on more wealth, not as good. It's still pretty good, but not as good. So the amount of traffic you can drive back with wealth is not that amazing. But I have seen people who've used Korra, they've been in fitness, they've been fitness experts, and they've used Korra diligently, and within 3 months time, they've built a $25,000 a month business, recurring. So that's something you could do as well if you are in, kind of, let's say someone said healing, right? If you're into healing, perfect. This is a great source of traffic. This is a great source of network building audience. The second source you can consider is Haro. So let me type this in. Haro is basically help a reporter. So what happens here is that you sign up, and every week, every day, twice a day, they send you an email with journalists that are looking for a tip, basically. So I get emails as well with a journalist looking for insights into, hey, I want to learn more about healing, let's say. Like I have this article I'm writing about healing through Reiki. Do you have any insights you can share? You have to be a healing expert. And then you can contact them, you can give them your insights. If they like it, they'll publish it and they'll give you a link back. If they don't, they won't. I mean, you can get published in sites like BBC, CNN, Fox News, and all these different places if you use this. So think about that. I mean, there's some smaller sites as well, but the bigger sites too. We have basically milked this like crazy. We have been so active on this, and that's propelled JobRack to very steady heights, at least in terms of organic traffic, at least in terms of domain authority. So that is something I would recommend you do as well over time. That is something that you should do as well with your blogs, with your funnels, with your business as well. So that's the second source. Third source is Blog Engage. So again, type in Blog Engage. This is more of a social network for bloggers. So, I used to be a part of this, I think about 5 years ago, so I don't know what it's evolved to right now, but I know it's quite active. This is where you kind of go in, you share your blog post. You don't have to publish it on their site, but you share your blog post and people can jump onto your blog. They can, you basically make friends there. That's, I think, what it's for. So think about essentially using this to grow your network, especially if you don't want to use paid traffic. So think about that. All these different things, you can explore this more. Like I said, personally, I haven't looked into this for the last 5 to 6 years, but I do think it was a good source back when I was working on this, and I think it might still be a good source even to this day. All right. So yeah, I don't know, but like I said, it might have evolved over time. So you have to do your own due diligence there. So there are these different cool sources that you can rely on for traffic as well. You can rely on for networking, for building backlinks to your website, and so on and so forth. But throw any more questions at me that you have. We are officially done with the content part of this session. So I'll open it up to Q&A. If you have any questions I can answer, anything I can help with, please do let me know. Okay, Oliver says about the automated tool that it might not do punctuation, but it's been a few months since I last did one. So yeah, try and check it out if it does punctuation. If not, about the Trint or something, which Oliver will share on the Facebook group as well. Okay. Yep. Oliver says depends on having a clear voice and probably would struggle with accents too. So use rev.com. I think rev.com is pretty good. Ragini is saying, I have an e-commerce store that is based on WordPress, and I was planning to use InstaSuite WordPress plugin to create the funnel I mentioned earlier. Ragini, you can do that as well. That's completely fine. But like I mentioned, depends on what like buy buttons you're using. I guess the main thing with InstaSuite is that you can do the funnels, but you got to then have your own buy buttons. All right. Nicholas says, great secrets, fantastic. Mark says, thanks for the great content. And Net as well. Do pop-ups for sign-up still work? Brigitte, on the blog itself, no. I don't think we have pop-ups for blogs enabled at the moment. I want to do it. I mean, they work on the funnels, but not on the blogs. We want to enable that, but not as of yet, because that will need some templates as well. All right. Over time, though. Over time, definitely. Thanks for Harrow and Blog Engage, no problem at all. I mean, Harrow has worked amazingly well for us. I can't remember how we checked the page rank and domain authority. Let me see. For JobRack, because I want to check for JobRack here to show you basically how that's been doing. And that's been doing really well, and really all the traffic that we've built has been using Harrow. Let me try this. Okay, let me refresh this. I think I'm missing an S there. Should be HTTPS. Okay, it doesn't work, whatever. But, you know, Haro has been really, really good for us, and I would strongly recommend you do that as well. Korra is fun. I mean, it's mildly addictive. I'll tell you this. I'll show you this. Let me show you my content, or let me show you some statistics. I have to remember now where my statistics are. There we go. So in the last 30 days, I haven't used, by the way, I haven't put any content on Korra. If I go here, the last time I put out any content was on 4th of March, like 2 months ago. Before that, November 28th, before that, October 30th. And I was very active then, you can see. But anyway, I haven't put out any new content, and you can see I still have 1,000+ views. And if I'm honest here, that probably translates to about 5% blog views from there on. So 5% of that, you know, comes back to my blog over the last month, which is not a lot. But remember, I haven't been active. If I was a bit more active, the result would be much, much better. And look at this post gets a lot of views though. So it was a funny post, which is why it gets a lot of views. So some posts do better than others. That's always the case. You can see this one already 51 views, 46 views again in the last month, and I haven't done anything for this. Quite often it so happens if I go to messages, Korra actually, yeah, got this. I don't know where it is, let me see. Korra actually tells me that they have shared my, oh, it's in the notifications. So Korra tells me that your message has been, you know, shared with like 1,000 more people, stuff like that, and that's always good. That's always a good thing. So use Korra as well. I think it's fun. I think it's a great platform for blogging too. Okay, bring it on, no problem. Just a question about the pop-ups. But that's great. If you have no more questions, then we can end the session now. I'll render this and I'll share this with you in the next few hours, possibly tomorrow. Okay, Ella, let me see. Yes, Ella, I'll make sure about that. That's fine, and no problem. Let me make a note of that as well. I'll talk to my team about that soon. Perfect. Thanks very much. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. We'll talk soon. Take care. And oh yeah, Oliver's asking any news on development. Okay. Let me pause the recording. Okay, cool. Now that the recording is paused, now that you're here, I want to show you something on the inside.